Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be part 8, I guess. The sweet taste of winter. It's sunny, Dad, it's sunny! Come wake up! Mine! Tuli's excited voice rang through the dark bedroom, and soon I was shaken awake. There had been a harsh snowfall for the past few days, but upon waking up, I saw dazzling sunlight streaming through the cracks between our window doors. Wow, long time no see, son. Tuli jumped off the bed in excitement and threw open the window covers without a care in the world for how cold it would be. A blue sky free of clouds stretched in all directions, and the snow-swept city gleamed beneath the sun. Look, the weather's perfect. You have today off, right, Dad? We gotta hurry. Yeah, Dad, after scrunching his face from the bright sun hitting him head on, jumped right out of bed. Everything following that happened fast. Tuli and Dad scarfed down breakfast, got some things ready, and then hurriedly dashed outside. I was just getting to the table as Tuli went through the door, wearing as much warm clothing as possible. Bye-bye, mine. We'll come back with lots of peruse. Whatever. I waved Tuli goodbye while blinking in confusion. What the heck's a Peru? I searched Mine's memories and learned that it was a fruit that produced a sweet white drink that tasted really good. Tuli said she'd bring some back, but I wasn't really sure how she planned to do that. Here's breakfast, Mine. I need to go wash clothes. Those two will be bringing back Perus for us, so I'll be busy all afternoon. Mom sliced up bread that I couldn't cut or break on my own and dunked it into soup. Bread that had been baked until it was hard and black to prevent mold, and last night's leftover soup with a side of milk was our normal breakfast. Really? To prevent mold? Oh my god. Before I could even finish climbing onto my chair, Mom gathered up the dirty clothes that had built up over the snowstorm and left the house. I sat in the now silent kitchen and chewed away at my breakfast alone. Once done, I began making baskets, the only thing I had ever done that anyone complimented me for. Dad and Tuli must have known when Mom would be getting back, as they got home with broad grins right after she finished preparing for lunch. It seemed like the mission had been a success. We're back, Mom. Mine, we got 3 Perus. Welcome home, you two. That's fantastic. I have all the dishes all set up and ready. Mom pointed to a particularly deep bowl and went to get an especially thin piece of dry wood from the storage room, the kind used to start a fire. Tuli used it to start a fire in the furnace and poked a Peru over the bowl. The moment she did, the outer layer burst around her finger and thick white juice flowed out. Wow, it smells so good! A sweet scent drifted through our home as the fruit juice slowly filled the bowl. I swallowed hard, having been the first time I had smelled something sweet in a while. It was definitely the kind of thing that would give me good memories. Tuli grabbed the bowl, making sure not to let any juice spill out, and Dad used the pressure weights to crush the juiced fruit. Perus are amazing, Tuli explained to me. Their juice is super sweet and tasty, and you can get oil from it. Even the leftovers can be used to feed livestock. We don't have any animals, so we take ours to Litz's place and trade it for eggs. I bet a lot of people fight over them then. You can only find them in the snow, so sunny days like this, a lot of us in the city go to the forest right away from the morning. Everyone wants as many as possible, but gathering them is really hard. Hard how? Tuli poked a hole in the second Peru with a thin stick and once again slowly poured the juices into the bowl. The only thing I could do to help was hold the bowl down so it didn't fall over. To pick Perus from trees, you have to heat up the branch, holding it to soften it. But you can't use any fire when up on the tree. The tree's special powers will poof the fire away, so you have to take off your gloves and warm it with your bare hands. You have to take your gloves off in a winter this cold. It does sound rough. That was a one-way road to frostbite. Even if Dad Tuli took turns heating up branches with your bare hands was just terrible work. You can't wait until noon to pick them? Won't it be better when it's warmer? Nope, nuh-uh. You can only pick Perus before noon. Tuli handed the drained Perus to Dad and picked up the third one. She poked another hole in it and began squeezing out the juice. Once noon comes and the sun rises, sunlight falls into the forest and like the Peru leaves start shining and the tree starts shaking, and the leaves all start making swishy noise. The leaves shine, the trees shake on their own, and they make swishy swashy noises? What? Despite Tuli's best explanation, I couldn't imagine that at all. Once the leaves start making noises, the Peru trees start stretching towards the sun. They grow taller than the rest of the trees in the forest, and then they start shaking like a girl swinging her hair around, like rustle, rustle, swish, sway. They stretch and start swaying around? Right? The light hits its branches while it shakes around, and all the fruits we couldn't gather shoot away like pew. Once they're all gone, the Peru trees shrink like it's melting, and then it's gone. They shoot away, and then the trees disappear. That's a weird kind of tree. Yeah, definitely. That was really all I had to say on the matter. What a weird tree. My weak imagination wasn't enough to visualize that happening at all. Okay, done. Want to try a little? Tuli poured most of the fruit juice into a jar, but left a little in the bowl. She drank 2 sips from it, then handed me the bowl. I took 2 little sips just like Tuli did. A thick, sweet flavor filled my mouth, and on instinct, I grinned ear to ear. This is what happiness tastes like. It's like a thick coconut milk. The moment I thought about drinking more, Tuli said we don't get a lot of this fruit juice, so we need to really, really, really treasure it. Don't drink it all at once. Okay, I'll take it slow. Dad, are you going to squeeze this one too? Tuli held up the cloth bag and peered inside of it. Yep, said Dad as he crushed the Perus bit by bit with the pressure weights. Peru oil could be used for cooking and in lamps, which made it kind of like olive oil. Tuli, let me see. I peered into the bag from the side, wanting to see what Perus look like after getting their oil extracted. Inside, I saw what looked like okra, which is a Japanese food made from soybean pulp. It smelled sweet. This stuff smells really sweet. Can you really... Wait, hang on. Can you really not eat it? I stuck a hand in the bag and experimentally plopped some of it in my mouth. Mine, that's bird food. Tuli hurriedly took the bag from me and told me to spit the stuff out, but I just chewed it thoughtfully. The squeezed dry stuff was rough and not nearly as sweet as it smelled. Overall, I understood why it wasn't exactly considered good food for humans, but it definitely could be used like okra. In a good way, I took a bit of the stuff and dropped it in the fruit juice to hydrate it a little. What are you doing, Mine? I think it'd be edible if I do this. I'm telling you, that's bird food. It's not something for people to eat. I nodded and stuck some of it in my mouth. It was actually pretty good. If I mixed the leftovers with fruit juice, and ideally added some eggs and milk, I could probably make a good okra pancake. That's good. It's not good. I pushed a bit of the Peru leftovers mixed with fruit into Tuli's mouth. At first she yelled, "What are you doing?" But after a bit she started chewing with a conflicted look on her face. Okay, let's go. Wait, what? Hang on. Something's up here. Hang on. Page 94. Page 90. What? Okay, I'm confused. How is that page 94? Hang on. What the fuck? That's page 93. 94. And 94. What the fuck? Okay, let's go. Tuli and I left to go to Litz's house. It was the 6th floor of the house, directly across from ours, in the circular cluster of buildings that make up our neighborhood. I did my best, climbing up and down 2 sets of stairs in order to trade the leftovers for two Perus for eggs. It was pretty rough climbing the 6 floors to his place after climbing down the 5 from mine. I'll make a faux pancake for them after the trade. Excuse me. Let's hear. We'll trade you these for eggs. I held out the bag for the full smile, but Let's just frowned a little. We've already got enough animal feed. Got any meat instead? My older brothers keep stealing all of mine. Everyone spent a lot more time inside during the winter, so it was more likely for them to steal his food. Let's grumbled about being hungry all the time. Tuli just gave a sympathetic smile and said it's hard to fight back when they're so much bigger. But really, it was hard to describe how bad it felt to be hungry all the time. I held the bag out, planning to help solve his problem. Okay, why not just eat this? Oh, who would eat bird food? His reaction was as expected. Nobody around here ate it like okra. It's edible if you make it right. Huh? It's only inedible because you squeeze all the juices out. It tastes really good if you make them properly, even the leftovers. Tuli looked at Let's looked at Tuli in disbelief. He was definitely thinking that there was nobody in the world who would eat bird food. Seriously, you're just being wasteful. Sure, you could eat the Peru and be done, but it's way more efficient to use them to make juice, oil, and bird feed. Nobody wastes the fruit by just eating them on the spot. I can't believe anyone would work so hard to get the fruit and just eat it without using it properly. There's nobody dumb enough to do that in this whole town. Mine, except you, I guess. I didn't eat the fruit itself, though. Maybe that's just the only way he can understand. I put a hand on my chin and thought about it. Lutz's harsh rejection. You have enough bird feed now, right? And the best thing is for we humans to eat it. Like I'm saying, the leftovers are so dry nobody could eat them. They only get so dry because people squeeze as much oil as possible out of them. If you put a little work in, they'd be fine to eat. Mine, Lutz showed no signs of changing his mind no matter what I said. I need to use a little force like I did with Thule to change his mind. He would definitely understand after eating them. I clenched my fist with resolve, ready to execute my plan, when all of a sudden, Thule weakly hung her head and spoke. Let's... I know it's hard to believe, but they really are edible. It tasted so good it kinda shocked me. Wait, seriously? She made you eat bird food, Thule? Let's look at Thule with eyes full of sympathy. That's right, she said it tasted good. I think you just need to taste it for yourself. Do you have any fruit juice left over, Lutz? I walked into Lutz's house and put some of our leftovers into a nearby bowl. I then mixed it with about 2 teaspoons worth of Lutz's share of the fruit juice. After a brief taste test, I nodded to myself. It did indeed taste good. Open wide, Lutz. Likely due to having seen me eat some. Lutz timidly opened his mouth. I placed the juice mixed leftovers into his mouth. He closed his mouth, chewed a bit, then opened his eyes wide in surprise. See? Sweet and tasty, isn't it? I puffed out my chest with pride. To myself. When all of a sudden, Lutz's older brother stopped just watching suspiciously from afar and instead swarmed down upon us. Sweet? Tasty? Seriously, let me try some, Lutz. His older brothers all jammed their fingers into his small bowl, and no matter how hard Lutz tried to hide the bowl or run away, they were just too much bigger than him. Not only could he not run away, he couldn't even dodge them. Hey, let go, don't pick me up. What kind of older brother would steal his little brother's stuff? Your stuff is my stuff. Share your tasty food with everyone, Lutz. Alright, I got it. Lutz's resistance was futile. His 3 older brothers held him down and stole his whole bowl. They all jammed their fingers in, and in moments it was empty. If his every meal ended up like this, I can understand why Lutz would complain. My Peru. Tasty. Is this really bird food? Lutz's older brothers completely ignored his cries and looked at me, eyes open wide in surprise, just like Lutz's were. This might be my chance. I can make something even better here. For real? They all took the bait. Despite how disgusted they had looked at the idea of eating bird food, they were now on hands and feet, asking for more, likely due to hunger. But I might need some help, since I'm so weak and all. Alright, leave it to me. Lutz enthusiastically flexed his arms, seeing that his older brothers all rushed forward and pushed him out of the way. You're not getting it off of yourself, Lutz. We'll help too, mine. Yep, I'm a lot stronger than Lutz. Yay, okay, I want you 3 to get a metal pan ready for baking. Lutz can get the ingredients ready, and Ralph can mix them. Oh, and it wouldn't be fair to just use Lutz's juice. Let's all use a little bit of everyone's. Come on, let's use the juice. No hiding. I clapped my hands together while giving Lutz and his brothers cooking instructions. I was too small and weak to do much, so it was up to these hungry young men to do the work for me. Lutz, would you get 2 eggs and some milk? Ralph, mix them together with that spatula over there. Zasha and Sieg, heat the pan in the furnace. Lutz prepared the ingredients for me as I put them one by one in the bowl. Ralph began mixing them with the wooden spatula. Zasha and Sieg, behind us, got the metal pan and heated it up in the furnace. Okay, that should be good. Lutz, do you have butter? Lutz held out some butter, which I scooped with the spoon and put on the metal pan after climbing onto a somewhat tall chair. The butter sizzled in the pan and melted, filling the air with a nice smell. I then used the big spoon to pour the batter Ralph had mixed into the bowl. It hissed, cooking, and the butter scent was joined by the sweet smell of Peru. Since I was using the okra-esque leftovers in place of wheat, it ended up baking into more of a flat cookie than a pancake. But it was still basically what I expected. And that's how you do it. Would you all work together to make more? After showing them how to make one, I got off the chair and let the tall older kids take care of everything. They had figured out what to do already, so they immediately borrowed the cooking tools from me and started making their own. When they get bumpy, it means they're ready. You should turn that one over now. Right. Zasha flipped it over and I saw that it was cooking nicely. I heard everyone swallow hard. Move this one over there. You can cook another one in the open spot. Once it had cooked well enough, he moved it to the side and poured more butter and batter in its place. After I checked to make sure they were cooking properly, we moved them from the pan to a plate, stacking one on top of the other. Ta-da! Simple okra pancakes. I held the plate and puffed on my chest with pride once again. Yummy pancakes! But my words must not have gotten through about how Les was looking at me. What? Say that again? Simple Peru cakes. The steaming hot Peru cakes were lined across the table, wafting off a sweet scent and looking super delicious. Go ahead and eat up, but be careful, it's hot. I took a bite and chewed slowly. The Peru cake was so tasty it honestly shocked me. It was surprisingly fluffy and wasn't coarse or dry at all, unlike the bird food. Probably due to the Peru fruit juice inside, it tasted plenty sweet even without jam or anything. Hey, Lutz, these were pretty simple to make, right? And don't they fill you right up? They do, mine. I don't know what to say. You're amazing. Since tons of people came to Litz's house looking to trade for eggs, they had plenty of Peru leftovers, and thanks to the birds, they had as many eggs as they wanted. They could trade eggs for milk, too, so they can make Peru cakes all winter. Now you'll be able to spend this winter with a full stomach. Yep, Les bit into his Peru cake happily. As I watched him eat, several recipes that used okra passed through my head. I know of some other ways to use Peru leftovers, but I'm too weak to make them myself. I'll make them for you if you just teach me how. Now that you've taught me about food this good, you're kind of like a god to me, so yeah, I got your back, mine. That event served as the beginning of me having Les and his brothers make recipes for me that required arm strength. I taught them the recipes and taste tested the results. Les and his brothers ate the food and got full. It was a nice give-and-take relationship. Okay, let's see. Hang on. Let's see how this is recorded up. Okay, I can still go. Okay. Helping out Otto. In this city, the people go to gather Perus on sunny winter days. Dad and Thule went together last time since it was his day off, but this time he had work. I thought for sure we'd just give up on them until I saw Mom grabbing her coat. I'll be going with Thule today. There were plenty of ways to use Perus, and our family wanted as many as possible. Since I was pretty useless when it came to anything involving going outside, I wanted to at least show emotional support. Good luck, Thule, you can do it. I believe in you, Mom. The problem with Mom going with Thule for the forest, however, was what to do with me. I was weak, sickly, and generally dead weight. They wouldn't bring me to the forest, knowing I'd end up bedridden with a fever, but they couldn't leave me alone either, so they had no idea what I'd do, since they had no idea what I would do if left to my own devices. It hurt to hear that, but to be honest, they weren't wrong. Dad, after falling into thought for a bit while preparing for work, suddenly clapped his hands together. I've got it, mine. How about you wait at the gate with me? Dad would take me to the gate. Mom and Thule would go gather Perus in the forest. On their way back, they would pick me up at the gate and take me home. We would get our Perus, and I wouldn't be left home alone. Everybody wins. That's an excellent idea. Okay, Thule, we're leaving mine with Gunter. Right, see you later, mine. Mom, congratulating Dad on his idea, quickly prepared her things and left with Thule in no time. They had to leave fast since you could only gather Perus before noon. Alright, ready to go? The gate's waiting. Well, it'd be a nice change of pace from home, I guess, and Otto can teach me some new letters if he's there, so... Honestly, I'd gotten tired of spending all day at home. Having failed to make a faux pauperist, the only thing I could do at home was play with my slate or make baskets. Never in my life had I expected that I would end up with so much spare time. Books have been the only thing saving me from a life of boredom. Incidentally, the song Haru Yoko Come Forth Spring had been playing nonstop in my head. The sooner spring comes, the sooner I can go outside and make clay tablets. To that end, I was exercising every morning in hopes of building up enough stamina to make going outside manageable. My family looked at me weird, but I knew that physical fitness was best accomplished bit by bit, day by day, with a lot of determination. Though, to tell the truth, as I had been exceedingly unhealthy in my Arano days, I hardly knew any proper exercise routines. I was just winging it. Dad, is Otto there today? Yeah, I think so. Yay, I'll be bringing my slate to the gate then. Now waiting at the gate's gonna be fun. I hardly got my own things together, the most important thing being my stone slate. After bundling on layers and squeezing into my coat, I grabbed the wooden tote bag I had woven over the winter and put my stone slate into it, plus a slate pencil. Preparations complete. Let's go, Dad. Mine, you like Otto that much? Uh-huh, I really like him. I mean, he's my teacher, or so I unilaterally decided, and he gave me the slate. How can I not like him? I wonder if he meant... oh, God. Like him... No. It's like a father figure type thing is what he's getting at. We left home, and it took about half a second for me to realize the air itself was icy cold. Just a little bit of wind brushing my skin was enough to make me twinge with pain. My face was tingling so hard that even I, queen of all lazy bones, immediately began hatching a plan to turn Peru oil into some kind of moisturizing cream. Oh, so cold. Not to mention that the snow was so deep I couldn't walk in it. There may have been some trick to snow walking, but as I hadn't grown up in a snowy area, I had no idea what it was. It took exactly 2 steps for my stubby child legs to get stuck in the snow, rendering me immobile. My fate was sealed, my future gone. I could only cry out into the void for help, hoping someone came to my rescue. Dad, how do you walk through snow? Enough already. Hold on tight and don't fall off. I was holding my arms out to maintain my balance, legs stuck in the snow, when Dad turned around and walked back with an exasperated expression on his face. He put my tote bag around his neck and stuck his hands behind his hands beneath my arms before lifting me up into the air and resting me on his shoulders. Wow, so tall. This is so cool. My line of sight got up so much higher than when Ralph carried me. The only reason the sudden height didn't terrify me was that Dad's shoulders, thanks to his job as a soldier, were wide and muscular. I could rest on them without fear. Back in my Arano days, I had hardly ever interacted with my father, but I did have a few memories of him. He did carry me once when we went to watch the sakura trees bloom. Be sure to hold on tight, all right? It had been so long since someone carried me on their shoulders that my heart was beating a little fast. After I clung to his head, Dad started walking through the snow. The alley to the road hadn't been swept, and thus he carefully treaded the existing footsteps for a bit before reaching the main road and walking normally again. Mind, just so you know, Otto's already married. Oh my god, he did think that. He did think in a romantic way. No, that's not what she meant. So Dad, breaking the silence with something entirely unexpected. What? Did I ever say I wanted to marry Otto? I don't think so. I never said anything about marrying anyone. So? His wife is everything to him, alright? What exactly are you trying to stop your 5-year-old daughter from doing? Even if I did like him in that way, he wouldn't give a 5-year-old the time of day. You sure are being dumb, Dad. Only way that would happen is if he was a pedophile, which thank God I don't think he is. Regardless of realizing what my dad was thinking, I kept quiet. He was being a pain, and I definitely wouldn't reward his petulant behavior with a, "You're way more amazing, Dad," or a, "I love you more, Dad." So you're saying that Otto's an amazing person that's all about treating his wife well? No. I made Dad so sulky that he kept silent the rest of the way. And thus, upon the shoulders of the most tedious father in the world, I arrived at the gate. Good morning. On instinct, I bowed my head to the guards standing at the gate. They looked at me for a second, reminding me that bowing heads was not a customary greeting in this world. Or maybe they were just surprised to see me on my father's shoulders. This is mine, my daughter. My wife will come get her when she's done gathering peruse. Until then, keep her in the night watch's room. Understood. Got that, mine? Otto should be there, too. You're welcome. Oof. Dad sounds kind of peeved. Wait, is Dad so jealous that he's going to be mean to Otto? Is this complex web of human relationships falling apart? Well, I'm just looking forward to Otto teaching me new letters. Why does it have to be... Do you really know what letters are? Whoops, sorry, Otto. I tried backing you up, but I think it just made things worse. I don't know why Dad has to be so jealous. I'm just looking forward to learning. And at times like these, I realize I don't know too much about father-daughter relationships. I'm coming in. Dad gave a light knock on the door and walked in. The night watch's room had a brightly burning furnace and a lamp on the nearby desk, making it much brighter than our place. The desk was pretty close to the furnace, and Otto was doing paperwork on it. Otto! Captain. And mine? What's the occasion? She's staying here until the Peru gathering is done. Keep an eye on her. Dad kept his instructions brief, arguably blunt, and set me on the ground. The sudden addition of babysitting to his duties naturally surprised Otto, and he looked between Dad and his paperwork with a troubled expression. Huh? But I'm busy with these financial reports, budget calculations, and... Mine, it's warm here. Make sure not to catch a cold. Dad left, ignoring Otto entirely. I waved him goodbye and looked at Otto. Sorry about this, Mr. Otto. It's just that, well, getting this slate made me really happy, and seeing you again today made me even happier. I'm glad to hear that. It's nice to see you too, mine, but, Otto gave an awkward laugh and continued. But that's nothing to apologize for, right? With a puzzled expression. The truth is, I complimented you a lot in front of Dad, and he got really jealous. Ah. So will you teach me new letters? I'll be quiet and stay out of your way until Mom comes to get me. I could tell from the parchment and ink on the table that he hadn't been in the middle of paperwork. I didn't intend to get in the way of his work, but I also didn't intend to miss an opportunity to learn new letters. Well, alright, somehow I got the feeling you actually will stay quiet and study mine, murmured Otto as he took my slate and scribbled letters onto it. This world's writing system was similar to the English alphabet. There were no syllabaries like hiragana nor logograms like kanji. The letters themselves determined the sound and meaning of words. Spelling was everything. Otto had faith in my willingness to study quietly since I had spent hours playing with the slate after he first gave it to me. Mind, we don't want you catching a cold and putting the captain in an even worse mood, so here, sit next to me. Otto gave a troubled smile and scooted a little bit to the side, opening up more space by the furnace. I fully agreed with his assessment and sat next to him by the furnace without any unnecessary hesitation. Thank you. It'll be easier to study now. Great. Hello? Yep, they're taking a nap. Yep. Okay. Bye. For a bit, the room was filled only with the sounds of a scraping slate pen, the roaring of burning fire, and an ink pen sliding across parchment. After I had memorized the written letters, more or less, I looked up and saw Otto staring at the parchment in front of him, expression deadly serious as he did calculations. He did have an abacus-looking tool next to him, but I couldn't tell how it worked from a glance. Though in the first place I had only ever used an abacus in elementary school when learning addition and subtraction, so even if it worked exactly like a Japanese abacus, I wouldn't know how to use it. I waited until he finished a section of the paperwork before calling out to him, "Mr. Otto, what are you doing?" "Preparing financial reports and budgets. Over the winter we need to prepare a budget for next year and send it off before spring, but most soldiers aren't good at math. I'm the most used to dealing with money, so I'm writing up our financial reports and budget. So everyone just pushed the hard work onto you, huh?" I looked up at the parchment, and although I couldn't read the words, there were 3 stacked numbers beside a line of text. If I had to guess, the first number was the price of something, the second number was how many that something they needed, and the third number was the resulting amount of money. It looked like the first 2 numbers were been multiplied to get the third, so yeah. I looked over at the parchment, considering the possibility of it being a request for new equipment, before I spotted a math error. "Wait, Mr. Otto, isn't this wrong?" "What?" "This is 75 and 30, right? I believe those actually make 2,250. Although I could read the numbers, I didn't know what they called multiplication in this world, and they had to be kind of vague in my explanation, but Otto seemed to understand me. "Wait, what? How can you do much when you don't even know how to read? Or how can you do math when you don't know how to read?" "My mom taught me numbers at the market. I can look at the numbers here and do math, but I can't read anything around them." After hearing that I couldn't read what was written on the parchment, Otto began thinking about something. I heard him muttering to himself, "No, I shouldn't, but..." back and forth. "Mine, I'm going to swallow my pride to ask this. Would you please help me?" Is this kind of offer I should accept?" Hang on. I mean, putting aside all the problems regarding classified information, isn't it pretty out there to ask a kid for help? I guess he's in such a tight spot that he'd welcome the help of someone who could do math, even a child. And said that Wade was swallowing his pride, so I can imagine that this isn't normal to ask kids for help. And I do want to help him if he's in that much trouble, especially since I want something from him too. It seems like the perfect place for some negotiating. "Okay, I'll help if you keep teaching me letters and get replacement slate pens for me." "What?" He probably hadn't expected a little girl to suddenly throw out conditions like that. His eyes opened wide. Smiling a little at his predictable reaction, I explained my situation. "Like I said, I know my numbers since Mom taught them to me, but I don't know my letters. I want you to teach them all to me." "I'm fine with that, but what's with the slate pens? They aren't that expensive, are they?" Otto was right, they were sold all over the markets for cheap. Mom and Dad used to buy them for me, but now they won't, so... Why'd they stop? I play with the slate all day. No matter how many they buy, I always need more. Hours of play a day was enough to wear out a slate pen in no time. Since I didn't get any allowance, one would say that getting a steady supply of slate pens was a matter of life or death. Anyway, the point is, I'm not a cheap enough girl to work for free. I think those are some pretty cheap terms, but alright. Otto gave a wry smile and agreed to officially become my teacher. What should I do? Would you mind making sure the calculations here are correct? Basically, I don't know where the mistakes are, so checking over everything is taking a lot of time. Apparently he was in the middle of checking paperwork someone else had made. It was obvious, given that this world had no computers, but despite how long it took to make paperwork, the calculations written on that paperwork all had to be checked manually. I guess you guys need another soldier that can do math. That would be nice, but I only got hired in the first place because I could do this kind of stuff, so... It sounded like there was some deep circumstances behind Otto becoming a soldier. As someone starved for any sort of information, I was itching to ask for details right away, but our workload was so great I swallowed my curiosity and bottled it up for later. Mine, do you need the calculator? I don't even know how that works, so I'll just use my stone slate. The slate could easily work as in place of scrap paper for calculations, since everything written on it could be erased. I wrote down math on the slate and helped him with his double-checking work. The numbers of the world had completely entered my head, and thinking about this number 9 was all it took for the proper symbol to appear in my head. Writing them was no issue. Holy crap, that was easy. I'm impressed, Mine, and I owe you big time. I never thought I'd finish all this double-checking work so soon. You know, Mine, with math skills like this, you'd be a great, merchant. I can introduce you to the Merchant's Guild if you want. Otto had apparently been stuck handling all the financial paperwork himself for years, so he ended up extremely thankful for my help. I might want to start a bookstore once I learn how to mass-produce books. Getting in a connection to the Merchant's Guild here may pay off big time. Plus, it looks like Otto's thinking of me as an important helper now. Perfect. Mine, if you really want to learn your letters, I'll take teaching you seriously. That way you can help me with my written paperwork too next year. Really? Yay! Huh? Is that something to be happy about? Otto blinked in surprise, but why wouldn't he be happy? Why wouldn't I be happy about him taking my learning seriously? I mean, helping with paperwork means touching parchment, right? It means writing letters with the ink, right? That sounds amazing if you ask me. Okay, let's see. How much more do I got? Okay, I think I'm going to have to end this off here, and I'll see you guys next time.